Food is not just food. Food is not just nutrition. It is a carrier of culture, right? It is a carrier of civilization.
So I think we Indians don't value our culture. We wait for the validation from the West. So every dish has a 7 to 8 step process.
We could be called the food capital of the world.
If you go to Madurai, probably you will find 100 locations where you can create a
Madurai is
1,000 crore brand from each product, right?
What processes do you put in to ensure signature dishes of Kongu-region cuisine or Kuppanna can get scaled and distributed well?
We didn't want a stage for our franchisees where a chef kind of tells that, hey, without me stuff cannot run. So for each dish it's different. We have about 15 signature dishes, except for butter chicken, I think, claiming that that's our dish.
Absolutely. So there are a lot of street foods in India which I think has a lot of potential in terms of they have signature dishes which can be scaled up. We've seen KFC, what they've done with fried chicken. Every great restaurant has that one dish people keep coming back for it. But how do you take a signature recipe from a single kitchen to thousands of plates without losing the magic? Today, we're talking to Bala, a food entrepreneur whose expertise lies in scaling signature dishes into successful, repeatable business models. I am Gopal Raj, and in this episode, you will uncover the secrets behind consistency, culinary innovation, and the business of turning great food into a scalable enterprise. Let's get started. If you find value in the show, hit that subscribe button right now. We are committed to bringing you the stories and expert insights you need to stay ahead of the curve. Don't miss the next deep dive. Subscribe today. Welcome to the studio, Bala. Right, we have a lot of questions. We are going to talk about a lot of food, right? So we can leave the studio hungry.
Absolutely. Pleasure, Gopal. Thanks for having me.
Great. So, Bala, so first things first, right? What is your... so we'll start with your background first, right? And how do you describe yourself at a talent level, professional level, right? What is that you have been doing, right? And how did you carve this niche for yourself, right? So that is something which the people would like to know. So let's dive into it.
So very simple, Gopal. I'm 25 years. I'm a retailer in consumer space. Been fascinated by consumer brands, how they have been built. So been fortunate enough to be part of iconic brands like High Design, Dindigul Talapagatti, Naturals, Junior Kuppanna, and so on and so forth in the journey as both professional and as an entrepreneur. Okay. What drew me is the fact that there is a lot of legacy in India. The legacy can actually scale much faster. Somewhere, as Indians, we understand business, but somewhere we don't scale like the Americans or people from the West, right? So my thought was, if we can marry the principles of scaling with legacy brands and promoter-driven brands, that's the secret, or that's the hidden secret that's not yet been uncovered. There's so much of value to be created in that space. There's a reason why I chose food, which I'll talk to you later. But legacy brands have a huge future in terms of value creation.
So when you say legacy brands, what do you mean by that? It's brands which have been around on the market for quite some time, and then you would want to scale that. Is that what legacy means, or is it particular to a industry? Is it like food? Or you also spoke about one is High Design, right? And then Dindigul Talapagatti, and then Junior Kuppanna, right? So the High Design was a legacy brand. Is that a legacy thing?
Yeah. So legacy, what do I define? How do I define legacy as? That legacy has got something that's proven over generations, at least 2-3 generations. There have been consumers, and the brand has become part of our livelihood. So that's how I would simply define legacy, right? And there are legacy brands in every category, right? You take a coffee, there's a legacy brand, Leo Coffee, for example.
Okay.
There's fashion, if you take, there is Naidu Hall, which is a legacy brand. Then there's food. So legacy is in all categories. Traditionally, India has been a promoter-driven, family-run business in terms of consumer brands. 90% of brands have been consumer businesses are from promoter-driven companies. It's only the last 20 years since the globalization started, we've started having Pepsis and McDonald's and KFCs of the world, right? Maybe 20, 25 years. So prior to this, there are a lot of legacy brands which, kind of froze without growing, right? I'll give you a small example. Krishna Sweets Mysore Pak. So if you say, of course, they do sell a lot of SKUs. Just their one Mysore Pak as an SKU sells probably 200-300 crores between Tamil Nadu and rest of the place. But for every one Krishna Sweets Mysore Pak, that has scaled to 200-300. There are 100 Iritikalai Alvas sitting in one Tirunelveli Iritikalai, right? So there's so much of wealth that is there in the legacy brands, in the products, in the different categories, that I think that's the next, we're just talking about the tip of the iceberg. So that's what is left to uncover. And that's probably the best value creation or wealth creation possible for Indians, because anyway, MNCs and brands from abroad like Burger King, McDonald's are going to come create value here for themselves. But what about our own brands, our own culture, our own legacy? So that's the broad.
There's so much to be done, isn't it? If that is the case.
Yeah, I think so much to be done.
Every street would have a legacy brand. I mean, I'm saying, especially we are talking about more of food, right? Every household could have a signature dish. Every street could have some signature dish, going for it, right? So all of this can also be scaled, is what you're saying.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Okay, great. And so, where, what's your background in terms of working with, your food brands?
Yeah, so I was from a branding and marketing background, then specialization in retail. High Design taught me A to Z of retail. We grew High Design brand from 5 stores to about 120 stores during the phase when retail explosion happened during 2000 to 2010. And that kind of gave me, also rekindled in me that, this is where I want to be, and I enjoy selling a bag or selling a dish to the customer, looking at the customer in the eye, that sales stuff, which is something now, of course, whether you sell it directly or through online or through phone, it doesn't matter. But I think enjoyed the whole process of how customer bought a product and getting feedback. And at that time we used to look around, I was probably 25, 30, that time I was in High Design. So everyone I used to look whether they're carrying a High Design bag or not, if it's a typical High Design consumer or not. So that's how my whole day used to be. So from there, when I moved out of High Design, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So when I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I felt that, I wanted to compete in a category which the big boys are not there. Like the fashion as a category, of course, there are a lot of legacy, but it's been dominated by the big boys, whether it's Tatas or Birlas or Ambanis. So I didn't want to get into a category. So regional food is one category where the big boys are not there. So I think
that's how you pick the niche.
So it's a good for small business people who are coming in. So then you have the just potential to raise capital will not throw you out of business.
And not many people will have the regional expertise.
Yeah, so regional is so we are again United States of India, right? With so many states, so many cultures. Even now I kept saying, this is a brand that's related to Tamil Nadu. It cannot be a pan-Indian brand. But how does it matter if you can scale a brand to 1,000 crores just within Tamil Nadu?
Absolutely.
Why do you need to be pan-India just for the sake of being pan-India, right? So I think that way my fit or my purpose was more in legacy, and then food traditionally, because it's number one, because that's a category that's not, at least in the traditional food, it's not dominated by the corporates and the MNCs. And second, I think there is, there's no greater happiness than sharing food. So when you see somebody having good food and, thanking you or smiling, I think that's a purpose that's far beyond.
That's a great unifier, right? Food is a great unifier.
So that's a purpose beyond P&L and profit. Of course, we all F&B guys should try and make more money, but I think that category, if you're only driven by money, you're better off doing some other category. Right? So there's more other things that are in the category which are good for you apart from money as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So then you did time with Talapakatti Biryani.
Yeah, no, Talapakatti I was involved during their growth and expansion for private equity, more as an advisor. So I worked with the managing director for founder's family, Mr. Nagasamy. So he is one of the great guys and operators in the F&B business. So So I was specifically working on expansion and private
The
equity.
scaling part of it.
No, and private equity. So we were one of the first to raise funding in South Indian non-veg. We raised close to about 300 crores in 2020, just before COVID. So that was a team I was part of. Then after the deal, I moved on to do other things.
Okay.
But during that phase, seeing Satish work, that's Nagasami work, and the F&B thing, I think we also saw that what could be the potential, because Talapagatti was at probably 100 crores plus sub. Now they're at 600, 700 crores. So every time they kept biryani, can it scale? Regional brand, can it scale? One brand from Dindukal or a Coimbatore,
They've
can it
proved
scale?
everybody wrong.
Yeah, so I think cases like Paradise, Talapagatti, all of them have their own unique journeys and stories. Some have been misses, some have been hits, but I think each one has got their own success story and a story to tell. So there's a lot of learning from there. And post that, when I wanted to do food, unfortunately or fortunately, if you act in a movie and then you do an action role, everybody wants to give you an action role or a comedy role, right? So there's all biryani players who kind of queued up saying that, hey, can you also do the same thing?
The scaler, is it? The scaler of food?
Scaler, or rather, I bought in private equity into the business. So most of them wanted. See, nobody wants ideas. Nobody wants. All the entrepreneurs have ideas themselves, right? But
execution
people want execution and money, right? So that's something. And moreover, if they have a pain that they cannot solve, that's where they see value in you. So I think ideas are very overrated. Execution is underrated. So seeing that journey, there was some people who wanted to scale, and then that's how my journey started. So we have a small platform called Blue Koi with friends, and which we started, to basically work with legacy brands to scale. Initially, it started off as a consulting outfit. Now we invest and then help scale. We become part of the team. So we are something like, we don't become promoters, but we are neither investors, we are neither consultants. So it's a very unique space. So that means also that because we are hands-on, we don't operate with too many businesses. So we work with parts of scaling, but leave the operations to the promoter. And then like a relay race runner, we run it from one point to another and then probably hand it over to somebody else. So that's the model that we are currently working on. So now they're calling it the venture builder model. So 5 years back when we did that word was not that familiar. So you can say Blue Koi is a venture builder around F&B space.
Around this is your own outfit. And your current role with Junior Kuppanna?
Yeah, what happened with Junior Kuppanna is...
How did that work out?
After COVID, then as I said, I was approached by multiple biryani players. So I had made up my mind that I don't want to do another biryani, right? Same thing happened with High Design. One moment I got out with High Design, all the bag guys approached me. I said, I'll not do another bag, right? So this time I was very persistent that I won't do biryani. This promoters from Junior Kuppanna, the founder's family, approached me through a friend. And they said, I said, no, I'm not doing a biryani. And they said, okay, it's okay. You just come for a, meal.
Discussion.
Meal.
Okay, meal. Okay.
Inviting
what do
you,
they serve?
You
Biryani?
So they served a lot of stuff. And and then by the end of the meal, I could realize that probably this is one of the best, South Indian non-vegetarian palate that I've had. So I said, if we cannot contribute to this brand, then who else could? So they were on, going through a tough phase crisis during COVID, like all other F&B players at that time, and they'd shut down the entire stores in Chennai. So I'd suggested a restructuring plan, which we worked as a team. And we brought in together a set of lead investors, and from where the brand was in ICU, I would say that we have bought it out of the ICU and it's out of the hospital now, but still a long way to go. It's a potential to create another 1,000 crore in the F&B space within the Junior Kuppanna family itself. But that's a long journey. So we have multiple other partners who are working together on that journey. So I'm a small part of what's happening.
So you're the director.
I'm a director.
Director of Junior Kuppanna.
Yeah.
And plus. How many outlets does the brand have?
Junior Kuppanna has about 40 outlets.
40 outlets.
Yeah. And Chennai, it's all in Tamil Nadu, except for 5 outlets which are abroad in Sri Lanka, Singapore, Malaysia, Dubai. We recently opened in Seattle and Luxembourg as well. So So we are in about 6 cities abroad. Yeah.
6 cities abroad. Okay. And outlets, what is the seating like?
So we are a casual dine. So we're about.
Could you describe Junior Kuppanna
as a brand?
As a brand?
So I think see what's happened is if you see in the comfort food space that divides into, of course, Indian, vegetarian and non-vegetarian. So if you see vegetarian, there were traditionally this Saravana Bhavans, and now you have Sangeeta, Vasudha Bhavan and all that. So non-vegetarian space, typically your choices were Talapagatti, Anjapar and Junior Kuppanna because of the spread that was there. So I think in the last 25-30 years, these are the three brands between Talapagatti, Anjapar and Junior Kuppanna, which have the maximum number of outlets known across more cities and flavor which people have accepted over a period of time. So we what's unique with JK, which I liked, is they strongly have the legacy of the Kongu cuisine, which again is a that's Junior Kuppanna has been a pioneer in this space. And Kongu, if you'd ask somebody 10 years ago, what is this Kongu? Is it a thing? It's a person? It's a place? People were not able to. But now, of course, Kongu-region, because of politics, people have got to know well. So Kongu, literally, I heard that it means border. So it's a bordering area between, you come from Palakkad, so you know that as well, right? So bordering area between Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka, with the Western Ghats. So that region forms Kongu, which includes your Nilgiris, Coimbatore, Pollachi, Tirupur, Erode, Salem and all that. So what's unique about that is one, Erode is where turmeric comes from. So there is a lot of rich legacy in spices. So the usage of spices is a little bit different in Kongu cuisine because of the spices that were there locally. Second, in terms of, there's a lot of cross-cultural interchange. In Tamil cuisine, which is traditionally Chettinad cuisine has been known as the Tamil cuisine, right? By default. Anjapar is the Tamil cuisine. Then only all the Dindukals and Kongu and all become favor. So Chettinad Tamil cuisine are always very strong and spicy. But in Kongu cuisine, you borrowed stuff from Kerala, like coconuts are used in Kongu cuisine, which is never used in traditional Chettinad cuisine.
Traditional Chettinad.
So coconut makes it more milder, your masalas are more flavorful. So there's best of both worlds.
So
right?
there's a little Kerala aspect to also
that's
rather the two states do share.
Definitely. And that's why a lot of Keralites traverse the border and come to Coimbatore to have Junior Kuppanna food.
Junior Kuppanna.
Many fans who are from Kerala. When we opened in Dubai, we thought it's like, it's not just Tamil cuisine, but it's actually Kerala cuisine. Like people from Kerala like the food a lot. So India, every 300 kilometers, the taste palette changes.
50 kilometers.
Yeah. So 300 is a high this thing. So, but I'm saying within a subset, if you say 300 kilometers. So to have a cuisine that's bordering around these three states is a gift. So, and then Kongu, when it was started 25 years back, the Kongu cuisine word started coming in. Junior Kuppanna was the first to pioneer it, and propaganda was around Junior Kuppanna. Now, of course, there are a lot of players, which is good because it creates that whole category. And this cuisine is not very, spicy. It's mildly, spicy, but the flavor stays within you, and you want to come back for more. So that's the speciality of Kongu, right? So because of
what ingredients makes Kongu cuisine different?
So as I said, there are some traditional spices, like including turmeric and multiple other things, which are from the region, which are used in excess in this. Second, there's a lot of usage of country chicken, so natukori, what we call it. So there's all dishes that are made in natukori,
and it's predominantly non-vegetarian, right?
Yeah, predominantly non-vegetarian.
Predominantly non-vegetarian.
So that's what. Of course, there is.
It's known for non-vegetarian. Not that you don't have vegetarian.
I think 95% of Tamil Nadu is non-vegetarian.
Non-vegetarian.
So speak about food, it's more non-vegetarian.
Non-vegetarian.
So I think
what is like you have the Talapakatti or your Paradise biryani. It's known for its biryani. So the Junior Kuppanna is known for what? Is there one dish which captures it, or is it the Kongu-Nadu cuisine?
I think the complete non-veg platter is what is the speciality. Of course, 30-35% of the sales is the biryani, which is the Kongu biryani. Again, it's different from a Chennai biryani or a Dindukal biryani or something. Kongu biryani is very subtle and it's got a nice flavor and aroma to it. So that's something that's about 30-35%. But we have a lot of signature dishes, like for example, the Palipalayam chicken. Now on any South Indian cuisines menu, there's a Palipalayam chicken, which is there. That was invented by the founder of Junior Kuppanna back in 1970s or so.
70s. And the founder is
Kupusami. So that's an interesting story how this name came about. So I'll tell that later. But so Palipalayam chicken, then you have the natukori, Pichapota natukori, then Madurai mutton, chicken chukka. All these are, regional
very
favorites.
signature Junior Kuppanna dishes.
Signature Junior Kuppanna, and if you take a chicken chukka from Kongu and take something from Chettinad, you will see the flavor difference. Although the direction will be the same, the flavor taste palette will be slightly different.
Okay. So that is how it differentiates.
Yeah, and we are also very famous for parotas. So you have all the parotas because Kongu was street food, right? Most of these so-called brands which were there were all small stalls which have stood the test of time. Junior Kuppanna also started off as a food stall.
Which got immensely popular, and they set up their own shops, and
then one shop became 2, then 4. Then that's how some people who professionalized moved and scaled. Some people who couldn't professionalize stayed in one location. So food as a journey, if you see in the last 50 years in Tamil Nadu, is a very interesting journey where you find, if you go to Madurai, probably you will find 100 locations where you can create a 1,000 crore brand from each product.
Absolutely.
Right?
Madurai food is phenomenal. I mean,
so Madurai is a mecca for food, right? So and same thing with Kongu. I think you have a different palette. Food is great there. So I think you have all this rich cultural legacy, food and culture in Tamil Nadu, that very few brands like Talapagatti, Junior Kuppanna are taking it forward. We want more brands to come forward and take it ahead. I think that's when the category.
Thing with food also, I mean, what I think is food is not just food. Food is not just nutrition. It is a carrier of culture, right? It is a carrier of civilization, right? So there was an interesting read. Any idea where the oldest tandoor was found?
No.
Harappa Mohenjo-daro sites.
Okay.
Oldest tandoor in the world. And it dates back to 4,000, 5,000 years old tandoor. So which means whatever we do today dates back, right? Whatever dishes we are having today dates back, millennia,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? So I don't see food as just food. It's like there are a lot of stories that food carries, right? And it is about civilizational continuity itself, right? So where do you see Junior Kuppanna in the next 10 years or 5 years? What is your plan for Junior Kuppanna?
So I think, there are two things, right? When you scale, many people ask me, like, it's Junior Kuppanna is not the Junior Kuppanna that we had in E-Road 30 years back, and this is different and stuff like that.
But I think that is a usual story. I've heard that,
for all brands.
For all brands.
For all
right?
brands.
So you ask for any Paradise biryani, they'll say, no, the Paradise biryani that was served in Hyderabad, their first outlet is always better. You've heard this on and off, right? But they're valuated at 500 CR plus today, right? So where do you see this?
So I think for us, we have modernized during the course of time as things grew. We have been able to scale to 40 outlets, including franchisee outlets who run it by themselves, because we have standardized into a chef-less model. I'll explain what a chef-less model is. So every dish has a 7 to 8 step process, which is led by a proprietary masala. So the proprietary masala.
We'll first get on to the 5-year, 10-year plan.
5-year plan.
5-year, 10-year plan.
So
and then
with this,
because I want
you have another
detailing.
segment on this.
I want to detail out that the process.
Sure. Right? So I think with the kind of standardization and technology, I see that Junior Kuppanna can be a 1,000 crore brand.
What is it valuated currently?
So value-wise, it's in the eye of the beholder, Gopal. So we are at about 180 crore in terms of GNV. That is our top line that the brand generates. About 2,500 people with us. So if you give somebody who's who's a very aggressive valuation guy, he can even value this brand at 600, 700 crores.
700 crores.
So it depends. It's in the eye of the beholder.
I know.
So normally it's 2 times
game.
the top line is what they say.
2 times the top line.
Yeah. So but we leave it to it's the buyer who decides the valuation. So right now we are not in the value.
500 CR is what it could be valued.
It could be, but right now we are not in the in terms of the valuation space itself, because I think that we need to get into when you're looking at the IPO, pre-IPO, before that. Now of course we have investors. When we professionalized post-COVID, we have a group of investors who have come forward to take the brand and go to the next level. With that, we will professionalize, we'll institutionalize, and we'll scale. And reaching 1,000 crore in about 5 years is something that's a definite possibility.
So that's the plan.
Yeah, that's the
Okay,
plan.
okay. Now, yeah, we had a background about what you do, what Junior Kuppanna is. Now, how do you put in processes, or what processes do you put in to ensure the signature dish or signature dishes of the Kongu cuisine or Kuppanna can get scaled and distributed well, right? That's a game. You scale the signature dishes and check the pockets where you want to place your outlets so that that thing grows, right? So what is the method to the madness?
So the founders in the Junior Kuppanna family were already visionaries in 1980s and 90s. So we set up the first proprietary masala factory way back in 1990 or so.
Okay.
Right? So from then we've been manufacturing about 25 proprietary masalas within our masala unit. So that's the secret sauce that we have.
Okay.
So and what that is one. Second, what we've done is we made the kitchen a chef independent kitchen. That means it's not driven by a chef. So anybody who's a cook can actually come and learn the processes. For each dish there's a 7 or 8 step process.
Okay.
Masala added with the 7 or 8 step process more or less gives the same output, right? So that's the second way we have as much as possible an Indian cuisine and non-vegetarian, how you can standardize, we have standardized that. And third, in terms of I think the ingredients, so we have a prescribed list of ingredients which ensure that the taste doesn't vary. You can do the same process, same masala, but if you use different ingredients, your taste slightly changes. So these all we try to keep it tight.
Okay.
So that consistency is what has helped Junior Kuppanna scale to this 40 restaurants level, in spite of not having a central kitchen or a retort unit or something like that. So our
So you
secret
don't
is
have
in
a
the
central
masalas.
kitchen, is it?
For Chennai, we have a central kitchen, but for the entire Tamil Nadu, there's no central kitchen.
So your the masala unit acts like a central kitchen.
Yeah, which is the which is what maintains the
taste and
yeah.
Okay, interesting. So how do you say that without having expert chefs, you put somebody with 2 or 3 years of experience, they can also dole out these signature dishes,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
How does that happen?
Yeah,
Do you have the masalas in a packet and then that is put on, or how does it happen?
Absolutely. So the masalas come in a BOM of masala and the condiments and the oil, everything in one packet, portion wise. So if you're doing 15 portions, we have one packet. If you're doing 30 portions, you have one packet. And the process of when to induce the meat and what to do, how to toss is there in that 7-step process. Of course, he needs a couple of months training. So somebody who can cook a upma can actually be a chef at Junior Kuppanna.
That's something. Okay. One thing I've hardly heard, people not say that, they don't have a centralized kitchen, right? But here I think your masala unit operates like that, and then that...
Then our team of, trained cooks, they train the other chefs as well. So see, for us, what we felt is when there are a lot of franchisees, there are about 20 franchisees that we operate with. So we didn't want a state for our franchisees where a chef kind of tells that, hey, without me the stuff cannot run. So that's not the case with Junior Kuppanna.
Okay.
So it's not a person dependent, it's not a chef dependent, it's a process dependent system.
Okay. Okay. So your recruitment and all those things, how does that happen? Do you have like a head chef kind of thing, or that
we
remains?
have a culinary head, at the organization. Now, as I said, in the last 5 years, we have professionalized. We have a culinary head. We have a senior chef team and all that, who are there at the corporate level. And at the each store level, we also take in freshers. Then they are put through various stages of training on the job. And during the time, they pick up we see their flair for either parota making or biryani or whatever. Then we tend to promote them. Trainee chefs come in at 15,000 and end up in couple of years at 40,000, and they get opportunities abroad to go. So it's a good career path that they take. HR.
So you promote them to Dubai or UAE, wherever wherever your outlets are, right?
So this becomes the pipeline for us to hire. So the cream of the people get the opportunities to go to international locations, and then the best of them also keep growing here.
I've heard this from a lot of hoteliers, restaurateurs. Talent, attrition, retention. How is it How is it at your
So
side?
that's the biggest challenge in this industry. I think it's not just for us; it's for everybody. I think that's something which, if I would want to rate Junior Kuppanna, I would give a low rating because we're still not there. I think nobody can be in this age forced to stay back. Nobody can be lured to stay back.
Correct.
I think the culture and the what do you say, the kind of a experience, employee experience that you create is what make people stay back for longer than what they would normally could. That is something that we are working on.
So employee retention and all
I
those
think the
things.
whole culture and the whole happiness index, employee experience, however you call it, they're calling it customer experience. Now it's employee experience, more important than customer experience. Because if your employee experience not good, the customer is definitely not going to have a good experience. So I think both service side and kitchen side, we recognize that we are far away from the best yet, because we started with a small mess mindset, right? So the people come in and you throw the plate and people have just it's good food and go.
Good food, correct.
The 10 years,
no nonsense food.
Yeah, that's it. And people have, and if you like the person serving, you tip them. And but now I think especially after COVID, the whole experience of dining out has changed so much that it's not just food, it's the whole ambience and the experience and the service, right? Where you're kind of going that extra mile to make sure there's a smile on the customer's face. So I think that's something we have not perfected well. We have a strong product in the experience and in the service. There's still a lot to which we are learning from competition. I think next 1 year our focus will be more on that.
Okay. And so what is the 7-step process which we were talking about?
No, for each dish it's different. We have about 15 signature dishes. So I feel that each of these dishes...
Each of the dishes will have
their seven steps, 7 or 8 steps. So each of the dishes I feel can be a separate brand by themselves. Like Palipalayam chicken can be a brand that can go with parota, can go with rice. So Pichupota Natukori can be a separate brand. So there's a wealth of recipes there within the our cuisine itself, which we can now we are trying to present it differently, serve it differently, keep in touch. Now it's more digital, so reaching audience, connecting with them through audience. So I think the core of the brand remains the same, but as the consumers change, we change the way in which we reach out and appeal to them.
Okay. And where does your chunk of the revenue come from? Is it like online, Swiggy's?
No,
or is it your dine-in?
Predominantly dine-in brand. 65% revenue comes from dine-in, about 35% from online. But now the thing is changing, because until COVID we were like 5% online. So the post-COVID our online contribution is increased, and how India consumes is also changing, right? I mean, there's a reason why you buy out at home. There's a reason why you go to a restaurant. So I think we are trying to. If you divide the consumer cohort, there are some 8 to 10 kind of different consumer subsets and baskets that emerge. Then you'll have to try and fit in your product into at least 5 or 6 of them in order to be successful.
Okay. Who's your core consumer?
Core consumer
is it like family?
So
imagine a couple in their 40s with 2 kids. Or, I mean, you will have a persona that you would have done, right?
So it's very interesting, right? Our core consumer is associated with the day part. So for the lunch, day part sales. So for the lunch, our core consumer is a typical office-going person who wants to have non-veg, but nearby the office. Need good food, clean food, home-like taste. So that's our core. Evening, it's more the family, friends who come. Weekends, it's again fully family. So your day part changes your core consumer.
Okay, and is the consumer usually from the Kongu areas, or it can be anyone?
No, I think what's happened is,
or are the regulars more from those areas, and your, people from Chennai or probably other parts of Tamil Nadu, they would come on a weekend, for example.
I think people from Tamil Nadu have adopted and taken on Kongu cuisine very well. So our regulars are generally people who want Tamil food, right? Kongu, specific Kongu region people, they will find their home food and always compare and benchmark. So I think here in the last 10-15 years, people have grown on to Kongu cuisine, and there's a lot of demand for Kongu cuisine. We see about at least 4-5 brands which are now upcoming in Kongu cuisine. So I think it's not confined to people from Kongu alone. So our typical audience is anyone who likes South Indian Tamil cuisine, non-veg. So that's the
Non-veg.
core. Right?
That's the
non-veg
core.
is the
Okay,
core.
okay.
Yeah.
So when you talk about non-veg, there's another challenge which also comes in, which is sourcing of non-vegetarian, because it needs to be fresh. So how does your sourcing happens? How does the supply chain? How do you do that?
See, we still have very strict ways in which we source, where we source the meat and all that, from what size the goat is. The carcass has to be less than 9 kg, and what is the type of breed that we take. So all these make a lot of difference, both in the meat, chicken, rice. We have a specific mill that we source our rice from, and the oil, ghee, all the key ingredients that make, even the spices that comes in, right? Where we source the molagas from, where we source the coconut from. I think all these are specific regions attached to, so which is what forms a part of our SOP. We try to stick to that so that the taste doesn't go way off.
Okay, the standardization happens with that. Okay. And which is your top signature dish which gives most revenue? Is it the biryani?
Yeah, biryani does 35% of the business.
So it will be the biryani.
So that's the main dish. But if you take away the biryani, then we have, of course, the Palipalayam chicken. There's nalli fry, which is like people, go crazy about. I think that's probably, we introduced the first South Indian nalli fry, which is very good.
Okay.
Palipalayam, interestingly, it's an oil-less dish.
Oil-less
so it's
dish,
cooked with water and the oil that comes from the chicken. So there's a small story associated with how that happened. So that's one of, again, our best sellers. Then there's Madurai mutton, which is our tribute to Madurai, a more fiery, spicy kind of a dish, which is, I would say, slightly deviated from the non-Kongu, but being a Kongu cuisine, it's our tribute to Madurai's culinary heritage. It's Madurai mutton, so that's an amazing seller. Then we have Pichupota Natukori, which is again bringing back the whole country chicken into the whole.
Each of these dishes will have like a fan following, right?
Absolutely. And about 3 years back, when we had the whole invasion of peri peri, so we did a Kongu peri peri chicken, right? So taking peri peri flavor infused with Kongu.
How did that go?
So that's again one of our best sellers. Now we're trying to do something.
So fusion
Korean.
also works apart from your traditional.
I think that's what the youngsters want, right? They want to try. So I think it's how, when you go to, if you draw a parallel, you go to pick a shirt. You're wearing a basic black. I'm wearing a basic blonde. We look at all the fancy colors and finally pick a core color. Right?
Core color.
So that's how it's in food also. So
in
you
food
look
also.
at all the fancy stuff on the menu and say, okay, I want a
once in a while you will try that, but you will stick to your comfort stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that's how it works. So the menu design, I think, that has to take into factor a lot of psychology and all these things to show multiple things, but finally drive them to the core. And of course, you can present the core much better, make it more interesting.
Okay. And the sales comes predominantly from your outlets in Chennai, or is it ROT
we equally
rest of Tamil
balanced.
Nadu?
We are equally balanced. We are about 15 outlets in Chennai. We have about 20 outlets ROTN. So the sale is typically balanced. So one city contributes to about 40%, which is Chennai. And the other 60% is from other locations. But internationally, our sales are numbers are very different, right? Because each international outlet will do 2 times of what one outlet in India is doing in terms of Indian, because of the currency rate.
Currency rate and perhaps nostalgia, right? People are nostalgic to have their, food of their regions.
So fortunately, I think the highest diaspora going out of India is, after Telugu people, it's Tamil people. So wherever there is Tamil diaspora, we get a very good.
So which is why Dubai, which is why Sri Lanka,
Dubai, we have
Malaysia,
double whammy.
Malaysia, you have.
Dubai, we have double whammy, both Kerala diaspora and Tamil diaspora.
Tamil,
so that's double. Malaysia, 10% of Malaysians are from Tamil origin.
So how does it work in Malaysia?
So we have 2 restaurants in Malaysia. So we're doing well there. And we have Singapore, which is again a lot of Tamil diaspora. Then US, we're there in Seattle, which is again a Tamil, community hotspot. So that's doing well. Luxembourg is one where we're there. There's a lot of tourists, people coming in. So So still we have a lot of growth potential. Internationally, I think we can do about 50 Junior Kuppanna stores. But internationally, we look for the right partners. We don't rush in just because there's potential in Dallas. We don't rush into Dallas. We see inbound.
You do franchisee model as well as direct.
No, we don't do direct. Internationally, it's very difficult to sit here and control something that happens in Dallas.
No, I'm saying
Here
overall,
in India, Chennai we operate directly. Rest of Tamil Nadu we have franchisees, and internationally there are partners who work with us. That's the model.
Okay. Now there was a survey done which said that most of the restaurants which start, die out in the first 1 or 2 years, like majority of them, 50-60%, right? What do you think? Is that a right kind of survey, or is the field itself challenging, right?
Yeah. So I think the churn wise, the F&B industry has been the highest churn, right? In fact, I think it's definitely the most riskiest business to get into if you're getting into a new brand.
A lot of labor and
no, not just that. Getting a product right, getting the whole equation of a product, service, taste, everything right, and sustaining till it becomes a habit. It takes a lot of time. So people don't sustain, or people don't have the patience. So first, why do they get into food itself is a question mark, right? The purpose why you get into because I'm a foodie, I want to get into food is not the answer, or because I have money, I just want to have a place where I can host is not the answer. I think the passion for food is something that people need to have before they say that, okay, this is going to be my career, this is going to be my entrepreneurship venture, right? Because food is definitely your numbers of at least 90-95% of restaurant that starts fails. So that's probably a right number, right? Now, how do we for first time entrepreneurs who want to be in food, how they can mitigate this? They can pick a franchise of an existing brand. So the brand has already kind of reduced the risk elements a little bit. So then you partner with a brand, understand, and then your next venture you can go in for your own brand.
Okay, so you mean to say there are already habitual users or customers of that particular food, so you can count on them. Is what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So if you take for example, you take Bangalore, whether it's Nandana's or whether it's your Saravana Bhavans and all that. These are all names that are basically already registered. Now to go and do a third name, fourth name, fifth name over there, it needs a lot of persistence, money, and kind of holding power, right? So I think that's where, and food is more like why there's also a lot of churn is there's a lot of fat that comes into food. Suddenly there's a lot of kulfis, suddenly there's a lot of gelatos, suddenly there's the Korean thing, and so the fads disappear, but the core always remains. So it's like you can eat food all the time, but you can't eat popcorn all the time, right? So popcorn cannot become your food. So I think the core and non-core people, if you get into non-core and then try to make it like a core, it's very difficult for Indians to accept except for like breakfast as in Kellogg's and all that, which is a habit forming thing, which people pumped in a lot of money to make it a habit forming thing. Maggie, Kellogg's, all these things.
Okay. Now, the kind of potential that India has, right, in terms of food, right, we could be called the food capital of the world. Because I mean, your spices, your variety of, your food changes every 50 kilometers. You have completely different cuisine and, right? So if there is any one country which can be called as a food capital or to be food capital, I think it is India. What is your opinion of this?
So I think we Indians don't value our culture, whether it's food, whether it's fashion, whether it's our own, whether it's yoga or something like an Ayurveda. we wait for the validation from the West. That's something that's high time we have to stop, right? And start valuing what we have within ourselves. Yeah, as you said, the next big brand could be from your street. It could be from your village. It could be from your... So I think what you said, the point is fairly right, that we have so much of rich culture and heritage. But our palate, whether it goes with everybody, whether it's a European, it goes with the Europeans, it goes with the Americans.
We wait for that.
No, we don't know. We don't know, right? So if a dosa has to be presented like a crepe and marketed, and are we up to it? Are we doing it at a large scale? So, it's good to have a legacy, but adapt it in a way that it will reach an international audience is something we have not done so far.
So masala dosas can be called crepe.
Crepe with the masala, maybe. So I think we are not adapting.
Inside.
So whenever we go internationally, we go most of the 90% of the Indian food brands. We address the Indians in the in that particular region, including Junior Kuppanna. So we don't reach out to the Americans or the Europeans in that region, right? So until that starts happening with Indian food, we cannot say Indian food is international. It's only Indians who are international are consuming it.
Are consuming it. Okay. That's a nice point. Indians who are international are consuming it. That doesn't make it international, is what you're saying, right?
Except for butter chicken, I think.
Butter chicken,
which
yeah,
is,
it's become
again,
origin.
Yeah, origin.
Origin
It's
is
more like now UK is claiming that
UK is
that's
claiming,
our dish.
Absolutely. So there are a lot of street foods in India, which I think has a lot of potential in terms of they have signature dishes which can be scaled up, right? Now, if yourself, and you're a food scaler, right? You identify signature dishes, you put in processes, you put in the brand, you put in distribution model, and you kind of distribute the signature dish, right? That's your expertise. What processes or what strategies would you give this food entrepreneur, right, to scale up their signature dishes?
So
is there like a method to it? How does it happen?
So very interesting. So we when we did Blue Koi, when we said we want to scale legacy brands, we made a particular framework from the learnings of our partners and earlier businesses, whether it includes high design or Talapagati or whatever. So there are 6 elements to scale. One is of course you standardize your product, make it idiot proof.
Okay.
Right. So that's very
we'll
important.
We'll start with the signature dish.
That's
right?
signature dish. Basic.
Signature dish. So how do you idiot proof it?
Yeah. So your process, what we did at Junior Kuppanna is we bought in a masala. So that's standardized. So every time there's a chef who's not mixing it, right? So you bought in the masala.
Okay.
Then
so
there's technology.
Can you automate it or scale it? Is it scalable? Is what you're thinking?
So for example, now there are parotas that are automated, right? Manufactured in plants. Parota is a dish that was made handmade.
Correct.
Now that's automated. So I think we can find a way if we want to look at particular, dishes that you can automate and bring in machinery. There's a lot of automation happening. We personally looked at a lot of automation which can. We did trials where our Palipalyam through an automated robotic cooking was as similar as a chef-made or a cook-made dish, right? So I think there's a lot of automation happening. So one is to understand the product, to put that process together. Because if you put the process together only, you can automate, right? So both sides you need to do that. So that's product fix is one for an entrepreneur who wants to scale. Second thing is people, right? I mean, if you're looking at it like a family run or a promoter driven business, you're not going to get talent to scale. And scale means it's 1 to 1000x, 10,000x, right? So then you will stay in one Iritikada in one location, right? So you want people. So you bring in professional team. So that's also one part
so one is
framework.
First we'll talk about the signature dish, right? So you're looking at how do we scale that particular signature dish. In your case, it was the masalas which added that particular thing, and you standardize that, and it can be scaled, right?
Absolutely.
So that is point number 1. Point number 2 is the team. Is it?
People,
okay.
yeah.
The
team,
people,
yeah.
the team that is there, and because it is scalable, you don't have to go with expert people or pay you don't need deep pockets to pay your chefs because it is standardizable.
Yeah,
right?
but also I feel that we need to institutionalize it. If it stays with the founder, then your whatever signature dish you can't scale.
You can't
how
scale.
do you institutionalize it and create the team?
Okay.
Right? So that's where the professional team comes in. So,
Okay, the team comes in. So when you say the team, we are talking about your sales, marketing,
everything, all the people
chef,
who,
the talent who's
you
there.
might have a great guy producing good stuff, but if you don't have the right operations team, right sales guys, and all that, you can't really scale that product itself. Your signature dish can't scale. It'll just remain one good product which few people will have. It can't reach that mass, right? So you need to get that right team. And
signature dish team. Okay.
Team. And when you're doing that team, you have to be cognizant that the team is the same guy who can join you, who has an offer from KFC, from ITC, from Taj, right? How do you then compete with a KFC or a McDonald's and ITC to lure him to come to you?
Okay.
So that's also a big challenge that all the legacy and the startups in this space face, right? How do you attract the best team?
Okay.
Right? So to take your product to millions or whatever. The third is technology. So how do you bring in technology? Now with the advent of AI, I mean, now we're using AI in marketing and a lot of, controls, management, but there's much more that we can do with technology plus AI. So that's something that we can bring in, how we can, in scale. So these are all, I'm saying this is the frameworks for scale. Then you have, your whole financial systems, right? If you don't have you might be selling a good stuff, but if not making money, you're not cutting down your wastages, you're not cutting down your, operating efficiency, making it better, then you can't have an operationally good kick-ass thing. So then your financial systems controls.
Okay.
Then you have your private capital. So you bring in all these things, then you bring in private capital, because your propensity to put capital as an individual will be limited at a certain point of time. Then you bring in private capital. This whole framework helps scale.
So we discussed about the first is the signature dish or cuisine, right? So in your case, the Junior Kuppanna case, it's the cuisine that you wanted to scale, and maybe an entrepreneur wants to scale up the dish, one dish, right? We've seen KFC, what they've done with just fried chicken. We have seen what McD's has done with just a burger and a patty, right? So anything can be scaled, right? So we have the signature dish, then you mentioned of the team, and then you spoke about the technology part of it, and then your the financial part of it, where you get the funds from, and also with this, I think we need to cover the real estate part of it. That is also important, because that's where you place your stores is equally important, right? Where's your distribution, right? Of course, we have the Swiggies of the world to distribute, but that's what you mentioned is about 35%.
Yeah.
Right. So what is about the real estate? How do you choose real estate? Is there a thought process to it? You look at the diaspora around that particular area, and then you place the stores. Do you have a study of, the Kongu cuisine can be well accepted in this particular area?
Thankfully, in Tamil Nadu, we don't have that problem, because everybody is a consumer.
Everybody is.
So we just need to pick the right catchment area or a part, right, where we can have the restaurant, right? So for us, if you look at, interestingly, 2000 until 2000, Junior Kuppanna was more inside gullies. When we started in Chennai, we were in T Nagar in one gully. There will be a treasure map that you'll have to find that road and go. So the traditional thing, especially for people from Congo, is that we never market stuff, right? We are like, nalla product kudtha na edhukku market pannu. Means if you give a good product, why should I market?
Why should you market?
But 1980s customers are no longer 2020 customers. Now the customers need to be heard. We should reach out to them. We should create a kind of a, impulse before we even bring them to the store. So now, of course, we are on high streets. We see catchments which are good. We take up those catchments. More than, if you say we want a store in Nungambakam or Adyar or Mylapore. So Mylapore maybe is off because
there's a
lot of vegetarian market, right?
market.
Similarly, Kilpok is more of, there's a lot of Marwadi crore, so veg restaurants do well there. So those are the broad categories that we
You'll have to know the demography.
Yeah, demography is something that's already available. And then also you see the number of non-veg restaurants which are there in that market. So you pick that. Then when you see Nungambakam as an area where you want to do, there are 3-4 zones where the traffic moves towards. So you want to be in that zone where you are seen, so that there's a more chance for them. Then you have the basics of finding a retail location, like your frontage, your parking, your all those stuff that you need, your licenses and all. So there's a checklist that we go through in terms of finding locations. So that is your standalone outlet. Then you also need to, if you need to grow, you have to be in the malls. So how do you find the right malls, which location in the malls? That's where you go to. And then, of course, now we are going into communities, like, for example, IT complexes, apartment complexes. So I think apart from just online Swiggy, Zomato, there's a lot of retail distribution that you can slice and dice and crack. Okay. And the rules that apply in Tamil Nadu will be different. The moment we go to, let's say Bombay, then we'll have to do it around let's say a South Indian dominated area or something like that, Chembur or something maybe.
Okay, that's the lowest hanging fruit first.
Yeah,
right?
that's or if you're doing the mass, I guess that if we go non-Tamil Nadu, we will not do the mass format. In Tamil Nadu, for us, an auto driver and a BMW owner, all are consumers.
All are consumers.
So we don't want to alienate.
There
anybody.
you'll have to be a
there
little more specific.
We can choose,
right?
and we can go a little bit premium because we'll do one destination store. Here in Chennai, for me, we are a daily food, right? So we want people to come for their daily meals, daily tiffin. So that means you have to be closer. So this is broken up into micro markets. But in a non-Tamil Nadu, we'll be a destination restaurant. So where we'll have people coming for that special meal where they want to have Congo food. So that's how.
Okay. So say there's a there's a street food entrepreneur who has a dish, right, and which people are queuing up for that particular dish. So, which means you go to them or they come to you, right? What would be your initial reaction? Do you take those brands up? You look at whether it's scalable. How can you kind of do you do that first? I mean, you mentioned your company has put in processes for that and stuff like that, right? So how does that work out?
So part of what I do is very niche. So I have the time and bandwidth as an organization to work with maybe 3-4 brands, right? Invest and work with them, because without investing, working with them is like as good as a consultant, but we don't want to be that. And if you then want to give expertise, help out youngsters coming into it, we just do it for free. We don't charge. We just help, guide, mentor, and we offer whatever our experience as friends.
Okay.
We don't charge.
Okay. So people approach you.
We do. I know a lot of youngsters who come into food, approach us. We give them guidance. We put them through so all the journey that we have gone through, all the mistakes that we have done. At least our first responsibility is to ensure that they don't do that. But we might not be able to get involved in terms of either an investment commitment or an operation side. But we are open to guiding. And so this was a big need, right? Many people, because once they see in a space someone successful, they start approaching me. I've also been in startups and fundraise space. So many people started approaching for funding. How can you help us put together other things? So we set up this platform called Startup Singham, which is the leading platform business reality show on TV. It's a real show, not a reality show. So where we've so far helped about 110 startups get funded. So we've institutionalized the whole thing.
That's like your Shark Tank in
a version in Tamil.
In Tamil. Okay.
So that's so generally through that ecosystem I help founders, because I have been a founder myself and I don't charge.
Okay. So the initial push, or at least advisory role.
Yeah, advisory role.
Initially.
And we have a lot of mentors. So even in our industry, we try and help out. It's not just me. A lot of people, somebody who's like, whether it's Mr. Srinivasa Raja of A to B, or whether Suresh of Sangeeta, whether Satish of Talapagati, all of them are very happy to guide and mentor youngsters and help them. Rather than say that, we want to be part of your business, we want to be. If eventually a conversation ends up into some investment or some collaboration, then it's a different thing. But first, I think as founders, when youngsters come in, typically when you're saying that someone comes in with an idea,
that's interesting.
I think we are happy to guide, put them through a process, connect them to the right people which can help them if they need something in marketing.
And them getting time from these stalwarts in yourself itself is something good, right?
No, I think it's a duty I feel it's a duty because we have been created by mentors like that. So I think it's just a passing on. That you need to give back. So all of us are with that mindset. So it's fine.
Okay. So what are the top 5 challenges of the food industry, of starting something with food? We can talk about restaurant, we can talk about anything to do with food, right? Not the hotel and lodging, not that part of it, but I'm talking about the restaurants part of the business. What are the top 5 challenges?
So I think definitely manpower is the biggest challenge that's confronting us, because people are moving to a more lucrative professions and manpower. So you have to take people and train from a background where they can stay with us. The passion of being in food is a smaller percentage of people, but most of them come for the livelihood, because if you take 2,000 people, there'll be 1,800 people on the floor. 200 people might have the passion to be in F&B, but the 1,800 people to put a food on your plate because they want to put a food on their plate, right? So that's the basic reason they come to a job. So I think to get them motivated, get them into an industry, keep them stayed motivated, and get the best out of them, where the customer's expectation is sky high, but what you're able to deliver with this kind of workforce is very low. So how do you bridge that gap? That's the biggest challenge that we're having. Yeah.
Okay.
So you go
one is labor.
Yeah, so what's the mismatch is, as a consumer today, you and me go to a Taj also. You get used to a certain level of service, and suddenly you go to a Junior Kuppanna. You're like, why these guys are not behaving like Taj? Maybe we not expect like a Taj, but our service levels are so tuned to a high level of sophistication that the bar has gone up. So
and today I feel back 20 years back, right? There is something called intimidation value, right? So maybe average or below average person might think twice about stepping into Taj because there is a certain intimidation value, but that is totally not there today, which is a good thing, right? I mean, the Taj doesn't intimidate versus so they're expecting the same thing, like you rightfully mentioned. They have access to the Taj as well as Junior Kuppanna, and they're equating both of this, right? So the intimidation no longer is so much valid how it was, right?
So I think manpower is our biggest challenge. I think I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will maybe put 1, 2, 3 as manpower.
Manpower,
right?
okay.
Yeah. So I think that's the reason why people scale or don't scale. They
Training?
might have a good product. No, manpower includes everything: recruitment, training, including keeping them retention. Retention rates are worse than IT industry for us. People leave just on the drop of the hat, right? So how do you retain them? What do you make it?
And there is no notice period.
Yeah,
right?
A salary if they get, that's the notice period.
That is the notice period.
Next day they're not there.
You don't. So you must be wondering, the moment salary gets credited, the next day you're thinking, okay, whether this guy is going to turn out.
So that's the challenge, right?
Challenge.
So I think so that's what when I was speaking to a counterpart in IT,
okay,
they used to say, we have a high attrition ourselves, but they have a simple formula to how they make it work, which is what I wanted to also kind of implement at our F&B thing. Is one, let's say TCS, they have 40,000 people. They know that 10,000 people are leaving. They'll have 10,000 people always in the training side. So they keep taking fresh talent, and they have a process in which the fresh talent becomes a professional talent within a short time. So that is where the process comes in. Okay. So then when people are leaving, you keep onboarding new people with the same level where the consistency and the service doesn't change. So that's the only, I think, and apart from that, you have to love your employees more than customers.
Absolutely.
So I know that's
ultimately they are the creators.
No, I think if you are not genuine, even after, if you're genuine and very cared employer, there will be attrition. But if you don't have that, then people just see through. I don't think the main factor is money. The salary is not. Of course, salary is a huge factor.
What is it?
I think respect. Whether there's a whether I can be here for the rest of my life as a career, whether I feel it's my family, the work satisfaction that they get. So there's a lot of soft factors which we don't really bring it into our HR process. So that's where I said we are still Junior Kuppanna. I would rate maybe 3 out of 10. So, but we are looking to improve. We need to get to 8 or 9 out of 10 to actually be a force in the F&B. Without getting the manpower right, whatever product we get, whatever processes and systems we set up, whatever technology we get, I don't think robots will be serving. Maybe down the line there might be robots serving, but right now for our format we need to get our manpower right.
Okay, so the manpower is 1. 2,
capital. So
capital.
Capital
okay.
is,
that is for scaling.
Yeah, that's for scaling.
Scaling, providing that experience, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Capital is required because you can do one store, single store with your own capital. But if you want to scale something that's working, like today, Blue Tokoi has raised so much money, and they've scaled well. So imagine if they had not raised money, they would be in just one cafe.
Absolutely.
So I think capital is second important factor that many of us don't many of the
so
founders
you see
don't
that
have
as
access.
A challenge?
Yeah, many founders don't have access to capital.
Don't have access
Traditional
to
capital is your bank loan and friends and family and all that. But beyond that, as the capital. So
Okay.
that's the second. Third is, I think, a deep understanding of tech. So now data and tech has become the core business. It's like a language, right? No English. So do we understand data? Do we understand tech? So that's also something the true blue F&B guys, we find it a little bit hard. So that's also a challenge that we need to factor in. So people who have understood tech are outsiders from F&B industry like Swiggy, who have come on and created value, which is
They're completely a tech company. I mean,
they've created value.
Tech logistics.
But on a foundation of F&B, they've created value using tech. So, but the foundation, which is the F&B companies, have failed to create value. So that's a message that we get. You know.
That's a interesting point. I mean, they've just platformed themselves on top of the F&B, right? I mean, that's what they've done, right? I mean, but ultimately the creators of the real product is with F&B itself.
Yeah.
That's a service.
Their value is still minuscule.
Minuscule, correct. So and the percentage also, the Swiggy percentage also is pretty.
That whole fact of that itself is something to think for F&B entrepreneurs.
What is it usually, the percentage?
What percentage?
The Swiggy.
30, percentage of our business?
No, not percentage of business, the charge. For example, a dish of 100 rupees
it
worth.
ranges anywhere between 20 to 35%.
20 to 35%, okay.
Their margins.
Their margins.
Like out of 100, if we sell on Swiggy, maybe 65 rupees comes back to us.
And many of the people operate with cloud kitchens. They don't even need an outlet today, right? It's just the name and many of these cloud kitchens are Swiggy also operates that directly or indirectly, right?
No, see what Swiggy
do
has
they?
done.
I mean, do they operate?
They do. They operate. The Bowl company was theirs. I think they sold it.
Okay.
But they have Noise, which is an FMCG product, which
Correct.
is their own Swiggy Instamart,
Okay.
which is their own in-house label. That's why they make the higher margins, right? But see what Swiggy or Zomato has done, they've disrupted the space, right? So I think when there's disruption happening, we have to also be aware of the disruption and move towards that disruption.
So just tell me, if tomorrow you have an issue with Swiggy, right? Your brand also can be replaced by one of their brands.
Yeah, I think because there are it's a duopoly.
When I say you, I don't mean to say you. It's just an example, right?
So see, that's always been happening with Amazon. If you see Amazon Basics, those are all brands. Like you have your black T-shirt, they will have an Amazon Basics black T-shirt.
Amazon Basics,
Marks and Spencers, and this one
they will
will
have
look the
copies
same,
of it,
but half the price, or maybe 30% lower. So that will always get to happen. But customers also look for authenticity, right?
Okay.
So I think people who want to buy a Marks and Spencers will buy a Marks and Spencers. They will not take Amazon Basics.
Got it.
The 10%, 20% who take Amazon Basics,
they will have their share.
Definitely
is what
take.
you're saying.
And that share Amazon that's what they want to get. But but 10% itself worldwide is so big for Amazon that they don't want to leave that pie.
Okay. So what would be the fourth? We spoke about the investment, right? The investment,
manpower,
team, technology,
manpower,
right? The technology part of it. Okay, and then what would be the challenge?
I think also understanding and adapting cuisines. If we are taking from one region, so how do I make it adapted, customized it to other region? Because if you want to sell in India or even abroad, like for example, you spoke about KFC, right? Fried chicken, but they're serving biryani today in India.
Correct.
I mean,
how do you custom?
So they are so much thinking of customization for India. But when we take Junior Kuppanna abroad and go, we don't customize. We make a minor customization, but are we, reaching out to the local audience there? No. So I think this whole adaptation, customization is also something important.
But then you cannot call it the Kongu
not
cuisine.
Necessary.
You don't have to call it.
No, not necessary. Obviously, we're not going to be serving burgers or anything. But I'm saying, how do we adapt our food? How do we, bring in a, local flavor? How do we bring in a, like for example, when they came in here, not just the biryani, right? A lot of like the McDonald's came up with that veg tikki, which is again a local adaptation, because so many people in North having vegetarian food. So I think being sensitive, and I'm not saying that only for Indian brands going abroad, but even, for example, Paradise came to Chennai, is not successful in Chennai.
Okay.
I'm sure
because
any
it's
regional
spiced.
That's where the taste is very different. It's locally, it's again United States of India. Every state is a very different palate. What they want is different. The rice that they want is different. So how do you adapt within a particular country also is a big challenge.
You have to customize there also.
So if let's say tomorrow we decide to go at all with Junior Kuppanna at all malls in India, top 20 malls in India, or we want to go for all airports in India, what I sell in Tamil Nadu will not sell in Delhi, will not sell in Punjab, will not sell. So I think that's to understand that and create a product which can also take local tastes and preferences is also
got it. Okay, you need to be sensitive to that. Okay. So any others in the list?
So I think
as challenges? Broadly the main.
I think everything there's a solution except manpower.
Except manpower. Manpower also has the solution of automation.
Yeah,
right?
it has automation.
To an extent. It's not like you can completely. Yeah. I'm sure there'll be
this is one business in which there's. If you go to buy a shirt, it's a product.
It's a product.
Yeah, this is one business. There is a product and there's a service.
Okay.
You're blending both.
In fact, there was this investor, Zerodha, I think one of the Kamath brothers, right? They were mentioning that they will never get into, or they will never invest into passion-driven business, right? And hotel is a passion-driven business, and it's not easy to scale, right? So perhaps that adds to this thing also. You cannot completely move away from having people running the business.
No, I don't agree that it's not easy to scale. Like see, if you look at food, as you rightly said, McDonald's has scaled, KFC has scaled. Just that we as Indian brands have not cracked that. So we are hoping that somebody like a Talapagatti or a Paradise cracks that. So then it opens up a whole new avenue for a lot of regional brands thinking that, hey, even I can scale. So what is more important that as Talapagatti is not just a number one in Tamil Nadu, but they're a number one in Delhi or a Punjab or a Maharashtra, right? So if that happens, then you're saying that regional brands are scaling. Then you can say they'll now scale the world. And seeing one Talapagatti go that way, there will be 100 brands that will come from legacy and regional space, which will scale, right? So I think we need that one player. They've done that in FMCG, right? Haldiram's has scaled and all the packaged products has scaled. But in restaurant space, I think we are yet to see.
You just spoke about Haldiram. What is your opinion about Haldiram and how well have they scaled?
I think amazing story of a family which has gone beyond. And see, there is always the saying that most of the entrepreneurs operate to their potential, but very few entrepreneurs operate to the market potential. When you see the number of like few thousands of crores that Haldiram is in, whether in terms of turnover or valuation, it's still small compared to the market potential of India. So they are actually playing to the market potential.
Okay.
Of 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 crore, number is still small.
That's crazy.
It's still small.
Still small.
So that's where a Talapagatti or a Junior Kuppanna should look at, in my opinion, that, how can we look at the market potential rather than just the, what I can do as a organization.
They've almost made it pan-India, right? I mean, most of the things there, right?
See, luckily in the snack space, your palate is, like I have a
little more diverse, also. Right?
Yeah, it's more diverse and it's very common, right? And you can have a murku.
Maybe it's easier there.
It's easier. The chips and there are a lot of common
things. The puri and what is that, bhaji and whatever, right? I mean,
that's more common. But in specifically, traditional cuisines, the wideness of the acceptance is not there.
You have to make it wide, is what you're saying, right? Customization.
That's the challenge. Yeah.
That's the challenge. Okay. So, what are the 5 good things about the food industry? We spoke about the challenges. Now talking about what gives you a kick of being in the food business, right? What would that be?
So I think first thing is it will give a lot of employment. This is an industry that will give a lot of employment. So that's what drives me, because I think ROI wise and in terms of what you can earn out of an industry, it's not very attractive industry. So we could be doing real estate or tech or something like that. But I think the capacity to create 1 lakh jobs, 1 million jobs is possible.
That sounds like a social entrepreneur.
No, I think beyond a certain point, you should have a purpose larger than profit. So of course, profit is very important. But I think you have to have a larger thing. And this is an industry that can create wide scale employment. So
Okay.
that's something that's really important. Second, I think this is instant gratification. If I ship a software, people use it, they will give a feedback. But I'm serving food right across the table. Instantly, you know your customer's happy. The joy you see in the face. And when we opened in Malaysia, we had a queue for almost 1.5 hours, people waiting. And when they had the food, the way they blessed us, saying that hey, we were just waiting for this.
Missing this.
We wanted to have our native food and stuff like that. So that's I think the connect that food has, which is after a mother's love. You see that love and food. So I think that's a beautiful part of being in the F&B industry. So these are all things that you can
Which
quantify
keeps you
as
running, is it?
quantify as passion, right? Where Nitin Kamath said that's all. It's not a P&L thing, but it's a passion. Third thing is beautiful thing is it's very regional. So I feel there's no large competition. Like tomorrow, Kongu-Cuisine started by Tatas. Is not going to happen, right? So I think it's a very regional space. So like Jack Ma said, I'd rather be the king of the pond rather than be the
Got it.
emperor of the ocean. Right?
I know.
So I think that's something that you can do in food. Pick a regional space and be this thing. So I think these are the three beautiful things that you work.
Okay. What is your we have two more questions. Now, making India as a food hub for the world, right? India as the street for food for the world, right? We've seen examples of this in Singapore, Istanbul, right? They've been creating this food tourism kind of aura to it. And today, what Korea has been doing, instead of you going to Korea, now you're experiencing Korea here itself. You can see Korean food gaining traction here, right? So if India needs to be the food capital of the world, how do you see this? I mean, do we have enough support from the government? Do we kind of see the government taking steps to it? I mean, this I think is the lowest hanging fruit which the world can enjoy, right? Yeah. I mean, we have medical tourism. I'm talking about food tourism.
Yeah. Right. So I think first, if we have some assets or if we have something that's our strength, we have to identify it. Have we identified all the brands and products which are our strength? No.
Okay.
First, let's identify it.
Identify that.
Let's acknowledge it. Let's put a value to it. Then only we will be able to grow it. So
powerful. That's very powerful. I think that the scale is so much that nobody has taken effort to kind of identify that particular thing, right?
Today we are saying there's an IPR record, so we should have probably a legacy brands record in food and this thing. So somebody, of course, at this scale, it has to be a public-private partnership. So I'm sure with NRA, with the F&B industry, would be happy to work with the government, but it has to be a government involvement. It cannot be a private,
not just a private,
just a private involvement, right? So if we can identify, document, and acknowledge, and give a certain value, hey, this is a certain value, this can go to a certain value. Then you can see that the change will start happening, and people, they will have silverware and diamonds with them, but not recognize their value, right? So unless you start telling them that, hey, this what you've got is of some value, and there's some staggering stats, right? F&B, 90% are family-run SME businesses, and almost like 85% of SME businesses are staring at the wall because the next generation doesn't want to join. Right? So whether be it food or whether be it manufacturing. So what's going to happen to all those brands? What's going to happen to all those businesses? Very rarely they will, like a Talapakati, transform and find a professional team, management, and a private equity investor. Many of them might die. They might just shut shop. They might just get lost in oblivion, and 10 years down the line, our kids and the next generation will be only looking at all US and European brands, where we don't have our own culture and our own F&B brands and
Absolutely.
I think that's something, it's a national priority as far as F&B is concerned.
F&B is concerned. If identification is top thing to do, right?
Identify, acknowledge,
and provide the environment, right? Which means, a lot of, in Singapore, a lot of streets are cordoned off for, food. They kind of block the streets, and especially during the, Chinese New Year and stuff like that, right? I mean, stuff like that also attracts a lot of attention from the world, right?
So see, what we do is, strongly I believe that when we are doing industry forums abroad, right, we do take our products, we do take our engineering stuff, we take our apparels. We showcase it across. Now India needs to take its food to the world. We need to take it and show. I mean, first we have to show it within India. Here itself, we don't know so much of rich heritage in F&B is there in Calcutta that maybe I don't even know 5% of it.
5%.
Right?
Absolutely.
In Calcutta, you can create 100,000 crore brands. Right? Just in Calcutta. So much of F&B depth is there. Similarly in Madurai. Similarly in other parts of India, right? So Gujarat, vegetarian stuff that you can all the akras, tepras, beyond that.
I know.
So I think it's a huge mammoth thing. Somewhere there should be there should be a food ministry that looks into it, and
food ministry should be looking at.
Yeah, now we are.
That identification itself is a big task. Big task.
Before 20 years, 25 years, where did we document yoga? We did not do it. Then
True that.
Americans started documenting, then we ran to document it.
Correct.
Ayurveda, we didn't respect it. We said it's. So I think it's food time we start respecting our legacy, and it's time for government and private people to work together on that.
Okay. And parting thoughts for upcoming food entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So I think
we've seen the challenges, right? And we know what they could be facing, right? So what could be your
so for me as an entrepreneur itself, I've been multiple entrepreneurs, multiple sectors. So for me as an entrepreneur itself is a very, very unique community, right? My thought for entrepreneurs itself would be like first, be sure if you want to be an entrepreneur, right? So what is the purpose why you're getting into entrepreneurship? Because it's a very lonely, very risky, very, very tough journey. So I think so this is something that we tell people in the startup space and all that. So you need to be doubly sure, because as long as your vision and your goal is larger, then you will survive all the struggles that come in the road of being an entrepreneur. So it's the same with whether you're a foodpreneur or whether you're a fashionpreneur or you're a techpreneur.
Okay.
It's the same thing, right? Each of one is trying to sell a product. So specifically with food entrepreneurs, I think if they are like first time entrepreneurs in food, if they've come from a background of being educated in food, then it's I think it's not easy, but at least they know the product, right? But there are a lot of people who are non-food, right? But get into food. So then it makes the journey all the more challenging, where they need to understand the basics. So get to basics, maybe if you really want to be an entrepreneur, resign and go and work in even in an F&B company or a brand for a year. Before you want to try and become an entrepreneur. And in that company or startup, take up an entrepreneurial role where you take ownership. You might not be the owner, but act like an owner. See how it works for you. Whether you're able to take that pressure.
Entrepreneur is a great concept.
So take that word. We have a couple of people who are with us who want to start F&B businesses. When they came to me, I want to start. I said, work with us for 1 year.
Okay.
Then you really stand that and you want to start an entrepreneur.
That's something superb.
So we tell them to work with us. So say, work with us for 1 year. So you don't, at least you don't lose money, right? So
Correct.
You get paid
Correct.
for that.
And you learn.
You learn. And then at the end of 1 year, you tell me really you want to be an entrepreneur. So just, I think the purpose and thinking through why you want to be an entrepreneur or a foodpreneur is very important. And that clarity is there, then you jump into it. And some basics are there. I have a template. I can share it with you.
Okay.
Like this much of month of savings should be there. Your family should be onboarded.
Okay.
So multiple things which will help reduce your heartache after you become an entrepreneur.
Bala, I can't thank enough, for you coming down and sharing these thoughts and, the know-hows for future food entrepreneurs. And I really wish that we kind of leverage each and every signature dish that is out there in the market, for more recognition and valuation and everything, right? So thanks for joining us in the studio.